Hi, welcome to your pick a card reading. We have 3 crystals in this reading. We have the citrine, we have lapis, and we have moonstone. Take a moment and really concentrate on the crystal your energy is more drawn to. If you need extra time, go ahead and pause the video right here. Now let's get started with the citrine card. Citrine, this is your card. We have nature therapy, grounded. Your soul loves to connect and be with nature. A beautiful healing take place when you're grounded. Center yourself with the earth. Being in nature has a way to restore what has been lost and brings you back to center. So what I'm picking up from this energy is that you have experienced a lot in the past year. I'm even seeing maybe even in the past few years, you have experienced a lot of up and downs. But most important to me, the energy that really sticks out is that you have been experiencing disappointment. I feel like you put a lot of trust in people and you just experience disappointment. And it really has you in a headspace of like, who can you trust? I feel like it has your energy off because I felt like some of the people around you, like they really had your back for a long period of time, and it came to a point that they disappointed you. And I honestly, I feel like it wasn't purposely done. I feel like this is the energy of like they're going through their own trials and tribulations, and I feel like they're just unfortunately not able to be there the way you need them to be. So you have been trying to like come to a realization in your life of like, you know what, I need to just depend more on myself. I need to really tap into my intuition and really, tap into that voice inside of myself, that my compass to guide me through, things that, a part of life, trials and tribulations. And you're really tapping in and you're really, focusing on building up your intuition. I feel like because there's been so many people around you that probably take care of, your situations, but like I said, they're going through their own trials and tribulations, and unfortunately they just can't be there the way you want them to be or the way you're used to them being there for you. So now you're just focusing on yourself and really depending on yourself. You're like, you know what, I'm gonna bet on myself. What, I have a lot of things I want to manifest and want to do with my life. I want to level up in my life in ways that, what, I just need to bet on myself. I need to become my own best friend and really, use my intuitions on, when it's time to make certain decisions or trying to figure out what path I need to, walk down. I'm just going to start listening to my intuition. I feel like you're going to be tapping into like more of the Bible, reading more Bible scriptures to help you, guide you in this new phase of your life and help you just to see a more clear vision. I feel like all of this is just growth. You're growing, you're maturing, and I feel like no matter what age you are in life, you can always grow. There's no age limit to growth. I feel like we all grow in different speeds and different times. And, sometimes a lot of us, we kind of depend on what society say we need to do at certain ages, but we're all different. There's not one path that fits all people on this planet. We have to figure out what works for us and, really, tap into our intuition, either, tap into your spiritual self, either, reading some more spiritual books or the Bible, just so that you can get guidance and proper advice on how you can navigate, this new phase in your life. But you're definitely seeking grounding, you're seeking a more stable situation that, it's not going to be all, I'm not sure. You're just tired of being in that energy of the uncertain. You're ready to have a more stable foundation, as understanding, knowing what the next steps, will be in your life and not just guessing. So you're just looking for, a place of a solid foundation, understanding of life, definitely betting on yourself, trusting your intuition, tapping into your intuition, speaking, and also building a relationship with your angels and guides are going to be also things that is going to really, really, help you. Just building up that conversation with your ancestors that have passed away, that you've had a great connection with on earth. They don't leave us. Their physical body leaves, but their soul and their energy doesn't leave. So I would say just speak to your ancestors, ask them for guidance and protection, and just ask them to walk with you in this new path and new way of your life. Okay, Citrine, I hope you enjoyed your reading. We're going to move on to the next reading. Take care, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay, Lepus, this is your card. We have here the Hierophant. Lepus, I feel like you are really tapping into your spirituality. I see that you are reading some spiritual books. You want to get a better understanding of life. I feel like you want to just have a great understanding of what life is. Most importantly, you're seeking, what is your purpose? You're at this point in your life where you're just like, what was I put here to do? Like, what is my mission? What is my purpose? I don't feel like, I feel like you're in a space of frustration of like, you probably have been, working in a certain industry for so long, and at this point it's just not feeding your soul anymore. I feel like you just do the work and it doesn't give you the excitement that it used to, and it's just your energy and your body speaking to you of like, it's time to level up. It's time to level up. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and really start living in your purpose. I always feel like when you find something that you're very connected to and you are able to figure out a way to generate income from that, it will not feel like work. I love to see people tapping in and doing something that they really authentically enjoy doing. And I feel like when people get into that space of just, living in their purpose, that is when doors that you never thought would open starts to open for you. Blessings start to come, to you out of nowhere. And it's just being aligned with your purpose, aligned with your guides and your angels, and really just centering yourself and just like, what? This feels good to me. I'm happy to do it. I wake up every day excited to go do this thing. And not only am I excited, it helps me pay my bills, and I'm happy to do it. And I feel like you are just like, what? I need to be in that space. I want to be in that space. I'm tired of, someone dictating my time or, dictating the amount of money I can make. Like, it's time for me to live in my purpose. And that's just such a beautiful thing. Like, I personally, ultimately just love seeing people thrive in their purpose. And your soul is just yawning for it. Like, it's time for you to start figuring out what your purpose is, what feels good to you. What do you enjoy doing, and how can you generate an income with doing that? There's so many tools available, to us these days where you can generate money, income from so many things. And so it's just up to you to figure out what your purpose is and how can you, make it a business ultimately. And I feel like you're definitely going to figure that out. Like, you're definitely at a crossroads of like, I need change. I need change in my life. And I feel like this energy is really, really, pulling and, applying some pressure to you of like, what? It's time for change. And that's why you're just, soul searching. You're tapping into your spirituality. I feel like I'm seeing some of you guys might be getting readings about, what your next steps should be for the future. Definitely seeking out mentors that are able to assist you with figuring out. Maybe some of you guys are reaching out to some professionals that are able to pull your birth charts and able to explain to you what you should be doing, how you should be doing. I definitely can see that, going on for a lot of you guys. And that's a really great place to start. That's a place of like having information, and once you have that information, you're able to use that information to make the moves that you need to make. Lepus, I hope you enjoyed your reading, and if you did, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Take care, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay, Moonstone, this is your reading. We have addictions, cloud my vision. I'm trying to get my life together. So Moonstone, I feel like there's someone that you're very attracted to. There's someone that I feel like there's an attraction both ways. You like this person likes you. But I feel like they do a lot of talking, but their actions don't, match their talking. And it's because they're dealing with some things that, they need some help with. They just need to figure out within themselves of how to get over this addiction, whatever this is, and how can they get help. Spirit is letting me know that the job for you at this time is just to be a great friend to this person, to be a support system for this person. Spirit is just like, it's not the right time to be in a relationship with this person. Spirit is saying that it's just friends, a very supportive friend that you need to be to this person right now. I feel like because they do like you so much and you like them, I feel like you can just be a very great support system. I feel like there's an energy about you, the way you talk to them, the way you authentically listen to them. Like when they are having a hard time or, a stressful day, you give them the ear that they need. You listen to them without judging them, without being harsh with them. You're able to just listen to them, taking the information and the advice that you give them is not harsh. You have this way about you where you can give advice to people and you say things in a way that doesn't feel like you are judging them or you are trying to punish them in a way. You have a gentle way of explaining things to people that this person is really drawn to. And I feel like the more you do it with this person, the more you're able to help them, because ultimately they just need someone to listen to. I feel like they've been through a lot of things in their life that they just haven't been able to express themselves. I feel like the things that they have experienced, they've just been holding a lot of that, emotion in for so many years, and it's just been building up, and they've just been using their addiction to cover up, to put a band-aid on their emotions. But it's a point going on in their life where they're at a crossroad where their soul is like, you need help. You can't keep using this addiction to cover this problem. Like, you need to deal with this problem. You need to express your feelings. You need to express that energy so that you can let it go. You can get over this addiction and be the person that you're supposed to be. And so Spirit is just like, continue to be a really great friend to this person. And I feel like once this person is able to overcome this addiction, that is when you'll be able to have this relationship with this person. I ultimately feel like that. I feel like once this person gets over this addiction, that is when, your friendship could possibly, become an actual like full-term, committed relationship. But at this time, they just need, some assistance. They just need patience. They definitely need a listening ear, a great friend, someone that, is going to support them and, show them that things are going to be okay. I feel like you also have great wisdom where you're able to provide this, this person with, resources or, put ideas in their mind to get help, to get the help that they need. And yeah, definitely, I do see a relationship with this person, you and this person, but they just need to get over this experience right now. And I definitely feel like they will get over. I feel like they're at the point in their life where it's a crossroad. They're tired of dealing with this. They're tired of covering up, their emotions, their pain, all the things that make them, just be emotional and, cry and grieve. They're actually like grieving a lot, and they just need help. They just need, someone that, can really help them get through this, situation. Moonstone, I hope you enjoyed your reading. If you did, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. Take care, and I will talk to you later.